Hello, everyone, and welcome to the December 2024 episode of What's New in Cloud FinOps. Slightly late, slightly.
I'm impressed that you said 2024, to be honest.
Yes, I was really focused on that one. With me, Franck Contrepois, my great friend.
Stephen Ode. Hello, everyone. Hello, Frank.
Hello. Well, it's New Year, but no.
Happy New Year, even though we've spoken several times this year already. And for everyone else, you're thinking, goodness, that was a long time ago now.
Yes. Yeah. Oh gosh, that is so fast. And I have my kid now crossing. I think he started last year. He's crossing every day the calendar for every day, and he was there saying, "But that goes fast." I was like, "Yeah."
Wait until you get to our age, mate. It gets faster and faster.
But yeah, so let's start. Music Maestro.
Probably a quick one today. Probably a quick one, we think. We'll see.
Well, here we go. Instances and compute. So AWS, new Amazon EC2 high memory U7 INH instances for HPE server for large in-memory databases. And if I checked last time, this one, so it was not on the price list yet, but they are just massive. So this is a new instance, which is a 32 terabyte memory. Okay, there is only one size, 480x large. Telling you everything. 1,920 vCPUs, 160 gigabit per second bandwidth, which is not that much, and 200 gigabit per second network bandwidth. So quite interesting. They're obviously made for SAP HANA. Mostly they can run Amazon Linux, Red Hat Enterprise, SUSE Enterprise operating system. So yeah, they are certified for SAP certified, but yeah, 32 terabytes.
Ginormous, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Next one, announcing NVMe-backed R6GD instances for Document DB. So that's the MongoDB compatibility. So it's a new instance type that uses the non-volatile memory express NVMe-based SSD storage. And so that is
if it's an R6G, so that's, well, is it a G or is GD something different?
It's still a G. R6GD, and
so only it's two generations behind.
Yep, and it only uses so it connects with that new memory, that SSD, super fast SSD for ephemeral data. So we are back to the old. I don't know if it's still the same, but in the good old days, you had that hard drive that was ephemeral that would disappear as soon as you reboot the instance.
Yeah.
And so that seems to be that, but applied to something for DocumentDB. So you can probably put, my guess is, I've never really deep dive into DocumentDB, but you can put your equivalent of redo logs. You can put your whatever needs to be written or read extremely fast. So yep, that's it. Next one is announcing EC2. I think it's an i8G instances. So this is an i8G instances. It offers the best performance in EC2 for storage-intensive workloads. It is powered by Graviton 4 processor that delivers 60% better compute performance compared to previous generations of i4G. Okay, we've done a 4-generation jump in there, it seems. Local, again, non-volatile storage
delivers. Do you think they've just hang on? Yeah. So there weren't any 4Gs in any other instance types. So do you think they've just literally brought all Gs to be any new Gs now 8 and then
yes, I think they might be normalize all their generations, so it's more related to time because except the T4s. No, except the T's are
well, I wonder whether the next whether it won't be a T4, it'll be a T5. It might be a T.
Yes,
T9, yeah, maybe.
That's possible. There is the I something. That's i8. It offers better 60% lower storage latency, 50% variability. Oh gosh, I got in lost. So 50% lower storage I/O latency, but up to 60% lower storage I/O latency variability. Whatever. Anyway, it's up to 24x large, or is 768 gig of memory and 22.5 terabytes of instance storage. They're available only in North Virginia and Oregon. And no, I still have one.
Yep.
Yeah. So now we have the F2 instances, just to say, no, they're not bringing everything to 8.
No, true.
Featuring up to 8 FPGAs are generally available. So I need to remember what FPGA is about. But yeah, so the second generation FPGA powered instances are purpose built to develop and deploy reconfigurable hardware in the cloud. Okay, you can use F2 instances to power the next generation of FPGAs. It's for genomics, multimedia processing, big data, network security acceleration, and cloud-based video broadcasting. 16 gigabytes of high bandwidth memory. F2 instances provide an 8 FPGA paired with a third generation AMD EPYC Milan processor with 3-time processor core, 192 vCPUs, twice the system memory, 2 TB, twice the SSD, 7.6 TB, and 4 times the networking bandwidth than F1s. Again, this
field programmable gate arrays, so you can configure the hardware to meet specific use cases.
That remind me the UCS, Cisco UCS, which you could reconfigure the BIOS. Available only in 2 regions, so North Virginia, no surprise, but London.
London, not Dublin. Interesting.
London, yeah.
Yeah.
So F2 12XL and F2 48XL.
Yeah.
And I think that's me.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, now I've got a couple. So everyone, there aren't many Google or Azure ones. Really, I was scraping the barrel, and that includes me having done most of the
release
notes as well. So this one was called Achieve Peak SAP S4 HANA Performance with Compute X4 Machines. It's released on the 17th of December by Mike Ekert. And so this is talking about how well specifically the X4 machine type family has been using for OLTPs, online transaction processing, and OLAP, online analytical processing.
Mm-hmm.
The reason is uncompromising performance and scalable solution, blah, blah, blah. You can have up to 32 terabytes with up to 1,920 vCPU, I think it is. It's obscene.
That reminds me of exactly the same I've just spoke about.
Yeah, exactly. It's matching that. The reason I grabbed it is at the end it says Google Cloud's X4 machines represent a significant advancement in SAP HANA infrastructure, offering high price performance, scalability, and cost efficiency by integrating with Google's powerful ecosystem for cloud native experience. X4 machines empower businesses to unlock full potential of SAP HANA. Blah, blah, blah. Sounds very similar. That's why I brought it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It looks like there is a new hardware which has been certified. Whoever does that hardware, and they sold it to both Google and Amazon.
Yeah, and maybe Microsoft, but I just can't find it. Who knows? Or it came out before or afterwards. So the next one I have is about SAP HANA again, but no, it's not because I'm still on the same one. It's about the new Trillium TPUs that are available. Let me find the specific ones. Our 6th generation TPU, general availability of Trillium. I think that's just what it's called. We've definitely talked about this in the past. What I did like, it had some key improvements that Trillium delivers over the prior generations. So specifically 4 times improvement on training performance, 3 times improvement in inference throughput, a 67% increase in energy efficiency. Nice. An impressive 4.7 times increase in peak compute performance per chip, double the high bandwidth memory capacity, double the interchip interconnect, 100,000 Trillium chips in a single Jupyter network fabric. I don't know why that's particularly interesting. But up to 2.5 times improvement in training performance per dollar and up to 1.5 times improvement in inference performance per dollar. So I really like that. Obviously, we've only got their word to do for it, but it's meant to be delivering much better price performance.
I was reading recently again, also for Wordly Maps, and one of the things say cloud is going to be cheaper. I said no, because we're just going to consume more, which is true.
Absolutely true.
I think you have enough. You have another one?
Well, I do. Yep, this one's out. The release notes. This was on the 31st of December, apparently. The A3 Ultra Accelerator Optimized Machine Type is now generally available. They're powered by the NVIDIA H20 Tensor Core GPUs with the new titanium ML network adapter. So very fast network throughput, like 3.2 terabyte per second, which is just, I mean, I don't understand how things can be that fast. In the following region and zone, it's in Belgium, which is the first one. So I don't know. It doesn't say that it's just a new region, but it might be that's all that's happening. But I don't remember talking about the A3s before. We talk about so many that I could well be wrong, and that is that. I'm gonna make the noise, and then I know it says none, but I actually think maybe I do have one. I've got one about data and DBs. I'm sure. I think we've talked about Databricks here before, and I've actually put this somewhere else. I will bring it up, so remind me not to talk about it later. But Azure Databricks, we talked last month, I think, about the limited time promo discounts. They've been extended. So on the 12th of December, they announced that they're extending them. They're now going to be until April. So if you're using that, or if you haven't had time to use it, you've now got a bit longer too. And that's all it is. And on to yours.
There we go. So, well, mine is great. I've put it into storage, but it could be also in data management because they're bundling things. So it's the new Amazon S3 tables. It is from reInvent. So I don't know if I've talked about it last time, but so the idea is that you can now, when you save something into S3, they can be seen as a table. So tables are structured data. Let me check. So normally you can immediately interrogate those tables. So you can, I haven't tried it yet, but I really look forward to trying to drop, a CSV into that or a Parquet file, and it automatically makes it really cool, faster, or whatever needs to be done. So I have a very long article from Jeff Barr, which is super duper cool. I just need to figure out the beginning, what it says. So Amazon S3 tables give you storage that is optimized for tabular data, such as daily purchase transactions, streaming sensor data, and ad impressions in Apache Iceberg format, which I think is above Parquet, for example.
Oh, right, okay.
So for easy query using popular engines like Amazon Athena, EMR, or Spark, or Apache Spark. When compared to self-managed table storage, you can expect up to 3 times faster query performance and up to 10 times more transaction per second, along with operational efficiency that is part and parcel, when you use a fully managed service. So it's based on Iceberg, is the most popular way to manage Parquet file, as said, with thousands of AWS customers using it already. So it's a nice way to put your CSV type file, columnar file, into an S3 bucket as you do, but then you are able to interrogate them without having to go through glue, which I can tell you it is so much better if that works, as they say. Can't wait to try it.
I'll have to trust you because you're the one that's done all this stuff in the past.
Yeah, so I need to try that out, but it looks very promising. The other one was still, it's a preview. It was still from the 3rd of December, so that was still reInvent, but it was the S3 metadata. So the idea is that you can access and understand your metadata, S3 metadata, in an extremely fast way. So S3 metadata is the easiest and fastest way to help you instantly discover and understand your S3 data with automated, easily queried metadata that update in near real time. And this is really useful, I'm just saying, because, for example, if you want to know what are the new files without having to read all the new files, if you just want to know, the size of all your stuff, to find the tags, select only the information that you need, it's going to help you filter things in a much faster way. You can also create your own custom metadata. So you can put dates, you can put intervals, you can put things into that. That should make it so much simpler to collect the data without having to interrogate the file. So cool. It's currently available in preview in North Virginia, Ohio, and Oregon region, and coming soon to other stuff. Let me see on the pricing page if that costs more. So 0.023. So tables cost a little more, and we are talking about metadata, and I don't see it. So somewhere in the pricing. Let me metadata. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Cannot really find that.
I'll see if I can find it.
Maybe it costs as usual.
Yeah, maybe. I'll see if I can find anything hidden away somewhere while you carry on.
Cool. And the last one for storage is Where is it? It is announcing Amazon FSX Intelligent Tiering, a new storage class for FSX for OpenZFS. So when you want to migrate massive amount of data from on-premise to AWS, the customers want to simplify the storage management, reduce costs, etc., etc., etc. Customer already using network-attached storage on-premise, and they want a cloud-based upgrade that offers similar capabilities. So they give you. So the idea is that now, here we go. So the first thing interesting is that storage class, the intelligent tiering, is now considered the best for any workload. So when you use FXS, which if I remember well is a NAS kind of approach, you automatically, it will select the right tiering system. So you don't have to use everything. So it's going to be frequent access. It's for data that have been accessed in the last 30 days. Infrequent, 30 to 90 days. And you get a 44% cost reduction on this. Archive, 90 plus days, and that's 65% cost reduction. So, and whatever happens, your data is distributed between different availability zones for redundancy, and it's always available in milliseconds. So you do not have an impact on the availability. It's really a technology of the backend storage. And that's it.
Yeah, sorry. No, I've gone into a little one of those doom spirals where in the pricing page then has a thing that mentions metadata. You go onto that, it goes onto another page. And that page I'd send you back to the pricing page or to the blog that was where we started in the first place. So didn't get anywhere.
Visibility, billing conductor, tag, cost categories, etc., etc. And I have 3 ones there. So AWS Billing and Cost Management now support custom billing view for decentralized cloud cost management. So normally you can now say that you want, if I remember, so AWS announces the general availability of custom billing view, a new feature within AWS Billing and Cost Management that enables customers to grant a member's account access to cost management data spanning multiple accounts within the organization. So custom billing view allow you to provide application and business unit owners with access to relevant cost management data across multiple AWS accounts using a single view in Cost Explorer. So that's quite cool. I don't know how they're going to manage commitments because they get distributed randomly, but that's going to be quite an interesting one. But overall, it's positive. Roughly, it is that all of a sudden they understand that you don't do all your work into one account, and a single project might have the usual prod, pre-prod, staging, and test, and dev, and you have all of these. They might be in different accounts, but you want to see them. You are responsible for that full budget. So now it is simpler to do with AWS Billing. That's one. Then you have AWS announces invoice configuration. So it enables you to customize your invoicing experience to receive separate AWS invoices based on your organizational structure. So for example, you can organize your AWS accounts according to internal business entities such as legal entities, subsidiaries, cost center, and receive separate AWS invoices for each of those entities within the same organization. A separate invoice per business entity enables you to track invoice separately through enabling faster processing of AWS invoices by removing manual process to split an AWS invoice at entity level. Note that, and I remember reading that somewhere, you still get obviously one invoice by AWS, which is the main invoice, and this is to help you. So they do some of the rebilling internally.
So we were literally just talking about that, weren't we, before we came on?
You can also associate a purchase order by unit, so that should help, and see all of that in Cost Category Explorer and usage reports. So I think it's cool. It is cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Getting somewhere. Next one is Data Expert for Focus 1.0 is now GA, generally available. So until now, exporting your AWS billing data to Focus was in preview, and now it is officially released. It's 1.0. So Focus is a format that has been created by the FinOps Foundation, and it involved all the biggest cloud vendors and some SaaS vendors yet. And so it provides a standard way to present cloud billing data. And so you have just one table format. You can extract almost everything. You can do the same calculations on different cloud vendors, and it should all work nicely. In the article, there are some differences between the GA version, so this new, and the preview version. And there used to be a page on AWS telling you all the stuff where they cannot be, or they are not yet compatible with the focus specification. So not sure if it's still there, but overall it is still really cool. It's really cool. And now we have, so Google has it, AWS has it, and I think Microsoft, Oracle, IBM, they should all have that. So you can use the same format, table format, and interrogation and queries to understand them all. Youpidoo.
Indeed. They're all a bit different though in their exports. So this is this is GA, isn't it? Yeah. They just have different columns because you can't put everything in their columns, but you will still have. Was it? Oh goodness me! I passed the exam. Is it 42 that are standard?
I also passed the exam. I can't tell you, but there are a set of standards. There are also the extended one, which start with an X, so you will know when they are specific to cloud vendors. But at the same time, probably there are some good things that you can just extract, all the basic stuff you normally can extract from Focus, and that's a good starting point instead of having to waste time internally to rebuild.
But Focus is already on the next version, isn't it? 1.0.
It's on 1.1. They've added some columns, so this is 1.0. You would expect that there was a ton of work done by AWS, for example, and others to transform the Cur file into Cur 2.0 so that you could query it and so generate something like Focus. My guess is that going to 1.1 is not going to be
a big job comparatively.
Huge job. The question is how high in the priority list that is.
Yeah, I'm with you. Right. Is it a noise? I think it's a noise. Mm-hmm. Commitment. So we talked previously about being able to simulate commitment scenarios in FinOps Hub on Google. It's now that they've added support for resource-based CUDs as a starting point to simulate various usage scenarios and customize recommendations to purchase a CUD that maximize your savings. So this is really quite cool. It's interesting because we've been doing some similar stuff with the customer at the moment on AWS stuff and been kind of working out, and you just the numbers never quite add up, do they? You've had this in the past. So being able to actually see it pull out is pretty important. That's all we've got in commitments.
Pricing, but it's also AI, but let's keep it pricing.
Okay, pricing, yeah.
So Amazon Bedrock guardrails reduce pricing by up to 85%. So Amazon Bedrock guardrails is to implement safeguards for Gen AI applications based on your use case and responsible AI policies. So what they are doing now, they are reducing the pricing by up to 85%. I'm trying to understand where is it not. But so they are reducing the price for content filter by 80% to 0.15 cents for 1,000 text unit. And for denied topic by 85% to 0.15, so the same for 1,000 text unit. So at least now the content filter and the denied topics have exactly the same price, which is a huge improvement from the past. Now, I'm pretty sure that's not where most of the costs for generative AI but it's a progress.
We've seen this a couple of times, haven't we, where they've really cut the price of something because it's maybe not worked out quite as they expected. ABC.
Yes. ABC, they've standardized it. The other thing, I think in this one, it's because guardrail, if you're using guardrail, you're using AI correctly. Yeah. Or you're starting to use AI in a serious way. You're putting it into production, so they probably want that, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're incentivized. You don't want this to be the blocker. That would be bad.
Absolutely. FinOps General. I know it says savings, but I've already done that one somewhere else. So just a quick one to go through the updates or 2024 in review. from Microsoft. For those who haven't had a chance to do that yet, there's some enhancements to Copilot that came across the year. The Azure OpenAI costs, which gave you much easier visibility and view of those workloads. Billing tags with inheritance, that was like January, I think. Like, so that's a year ago. Crumbs. They've done a load on the AKS cost reviews. That was towards the end of the year. Well, at least I think it was towards the end of the year. It felt like it was towards the end of the year.
On dates, you can say whatever you want. I am totally lost.
Yeah,
anyway.
but it just staggers me how fast it all happens. Azure Savings Plan roles got created. Saving plans would exist, but they created new roles. They released a preview of the Azure Carbon Optimization tool last year as well. So they're the bits. Interesting that kind of comes out under the cost management review, but I think it's the kind of linking FinOps to GreenOps, even though it's not called the FinOps review. So yes, that's the bits that came out. I thought it was worth just blasting out. The other one is here because I didn't know where to put it. And sorry, everyone, I'm Seb woke up in the middle of the night. Get cost-effective protection for SAP HANA with backup and DR services. So they have specifically built out a cold DR strategy, I think. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a cold DR strategy or a service that allows you to have a not as quick but significantly cheaper way of reloading rather than having live, which is just mad. So the backup images are put into a different region, and the recovery is just a matter of bringing up the VMs, and they will hook across. As I always say with DR, the problem isn't actually going there. The problem is generally going back. Mm-hmm. But I think in this case you should be able to just do the same thing back, but it'll be additional downtime. But it's very cost effective because you're only paying for the storage of those machines. It's not a new thing. This has been a way of doing with DR for years, but specifically drawn out for SAP. I think because people were finding the costs eye-watering, which they shall always be.
Yes, they are. AI. So I just added a section because I had some news I didn't know where to put exactly. And if you don't have an AI section today, you are no one. So we want to be someone. But yeah, though AWS reduced costs and latency with Amazon Bedrock intelligent prompt routing and prompt caching. So it's in preview, but the idea, so it is a capability that helps reduce cost and latency for generative AI application. So intelligent prompt routing. So when invoking a model, you can now use a combination of foundation model from the same model family to help optimize the quality and cost. For example, with Claude from Anthropic, Bedrock can intelligently route requests between Claude 3.5 and Claude 3, for example, depending on the complexity of the prompt. They can do the same between Llama 3.170 billion and 8B. So overall, it's quite interesting that there is some sort of a load balancing. It's a little like what Apple's done with their intelligence on the phones, where they say that if it's basic stuff, it's gonna stay on the phone, and if it's too much, it's gonna go to Apple. But then if it's too much, it goes to OpenAI or something like this. So it's depending on the complexity and what you get. The other one is Amazon Bedrock now support prompt caching, so you can now cache frequently used context in prompt across multiple model invocation. This is specifically valuable for applications that repeatedly use the same context, such as document, QA, system, etc. So you can, my understanding is that you can add a context like consider that these documents are use only the documents that are from the last year, and you want to use that across multiple models, then you can use that. And so prompt caching is in Amazon Bedrock can reduce cost by up to 90% and latency up to 85% for supported models, I guess for the prompt only. But yeah, that's it. There is another one, which is Amazon SageMaker Hyperpod now provide flexible training plans. So Amazon SageMaker Hyperpod announced flexible training plan, a new capability that allows you to train generative AI models within your timeline and budgets. Yeah, okay. Gain predictable model training timelines and run training workloads within your budget requirement while continuing to benefit from features of SageMaker Hyperpod, such as resiliency, performance optimized distributed training, and enhanced observability and monitoring. So I would need to check exactly what is SageMaker Hyperpod. I think you were buying a cluster, but it's interesting that for the first, they emphasize, so it's really rare, they emphasize that you can set some sort of a budget and you will be in budget. It reads Lasker guarantee. It reads. And just for the information, Hyperpod remove the undifferentiated heavy lifting involving building generative AI models. So it's when you build your own generative AI model, which as far as I know is something that costs some millions. Anyway, cool. That's it for this one, I think.
Sorry, I was talking away there on mute. Yeah, I think Hyperpod is more about going generative AI as well, isn't it? Because you were able to do ML models on SageMaker. It's like a managed ML service, wasn't it? So it must be around that specifically. Enables centralized governance across all your model development tasks. Oh, there it is. Is that giving you full visibility and control over how different tasks are prioritized? There we go. Well, noise?
Yes. So that's Miss Cancilli. There are two news. So the first one, it's quite interesting, is that there was AWS had introduced a new self-service feature for US customers to update their business name on AWS's invoices directly from AWS billing and cost management. Now the link that I had for this one now returns a 404. So I don't know if the feature has been cancelled or it's just that my link has been moved. But yeah, that's, have a look. So if you're in the US and you're interested in changing your business name on your invoices, it is normally possible. And last but not least, so there is a top announcement of AWS reInvent 2024 that was published on the 1st of December. I will share this link in the script or in the description of this episode. And that's it.
There we go. How quick were we? Well, not that quick, but there were some decent talking points on some of them. There's quite a lot of detail.
And yeah, nothing exciting. Wait for me, I need to find that. I don't understand what I'm reading.
Nothing massively exciting. Some instances out. I think January we're already seeing some bits and bobs, and that will hopefully be out before we know it, as long as we find some time. We do have a bunch of people that already want to come on and be guests, and we've got a few people we're going to be speaking to very quickly. But listeners, if you've got a story or you've got something you find interesting you want to talk about, do get in contact with us on LinkedIn or podcast at finopsguys.co.uk. I want to say. Shows, I mean, it just goes onto my phone and yours. So, and contact us as well. We want to give people a chance that aren't people who maybe have a high profile that we'll come across in our roles to come and speak. We're both anticipating to be at FinOps X this year in San Diego, also at the FinOps London members, it's going to be called something else, Roadshow, whatever it's going to be called this year, when that comes out. So feel free to come see us. We can arrange recording around that as well. Yes. We do need to we haven't talked about this yet, work out who's going to do the 2024 in review show. So if you feel you are well placed for that, give us a shout. Otherwise, we'll reach out to our friends as usual. But as always, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. And we'll speak to you again soon.
À bientôt. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.